Hi, I'm Derek, and the strength of a business can often be attributed to how long employees have stayed at that business. If employees stayed at a business for a long time, generally you know it's going to be a healthy relationship back and forth. So today I'm going to be sharing with you an employee management system for your construction business of how to retain workers and get them ramped up, efficient, and effective for you. So before we jump in, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Love the likes, helps the channel, helps me a lot, so I really appreciate it. And subscribe. Best way to grow your business, subscribe to the channel, watch the videos. All right, so jumping into it, I'm gonna be sharing with you, 4 different kind of steps, areas where you can build out your employee management system. Employees are essential, of course they are. They're your front line. They're going to be running your business, whether that's a manager, whether that's a carpenter, whether that's a brand new hire, whoever it is. Having an effective way to manage them, make sure they feel appreciated, as well as a way to train them and level them up and build a team environment is going to be essential to your success. So the first place where you're going to start, you just hired a new employee, onboarding, right? Onboarding, so many people skip over it, but it's so important. And onboarding is simply the process of someone starting and having a system in order for them to get ramped up and become an average worker inside your business. So some things you want to be thinking about with onboarding is, again, having a checklist in place of specific things that you need to get set up for them so that they feel welcomed. And usually you're going to have some sort of templated sort of email that you're going to send to them. Hey, so glad you're starting with our company. These are the things you're going to need for your first day. You're going to meet here at this time. You're going to need to bring these tools or this with you, whatever it might be, right? So you want to send that to them and then have a checklist in place where you are explaining everything they're going to need, as far as maybe they need to download an app on their phone to keep their time tracking. Maybe they need to watch some videos that you have of just company policy. You need to send them an employee handbook of all the different things that they're going to know and kind of rules and regulations, so to say, of your business, of what they should know ahead of time. And then also explain sort of what they can expect moving forward. Show them the people they're going to be working with, all those things that they need to know in order to be effective, and not just show up on their first day and hey, it's Joe Smo, go over there and move that material to that side over there where we need it. Good luck. Talk to you at lunch. It's not going to be an effective way to hire people, and no one's going to want to stick around if you're not treating them well and they don't feel like they're part of the company. Another pro tip is, if you have swag, if you got t-shirts, hats, whatever, water bottles for guys with your company logo on it, give it to them on their first day or first week, first 2 weeks, whatever you feel is appropriate. But it shows them hey, you're part of the team. Here's some stuff. You got your uniform, got your things from the company. So pretty straightforward. Start it, get it in place. Start small. You don't need some big elaborate onboarding process. Start with 5 steps. Start with the simple what you've been doing so far, and build on it and improve it over time. All right, does that make sense? The second one we're going to be looking at is training. Invest in your employees and they will invest in your business. That's how you build a valuable business. Part of it. The other part is putting systems and processes in place, which kudos to you. You're watching this video to get better at. The training program, again, it doesn't have to be super complicated or over the top with specifics of how you need to nail a board together and how to build cabinetry from scratch or anything like that. You want processes of an overview of hey, generally you're going to do an evaluation of them, of where are you at now? And you already have the job. You don't need to bullshit about how skilled you are. Just figure out sort of where are they at. Can they handle tasks by themselves without much oversight, or do they need help or need to be with someone? So figure out on a forum of where they're at right now, what they need to be trained on in order to get where you want them to be. So tell them hey, this is where you're at now, this is how we're going to train you and the things we're going to work on. In 3 months or 6 months, I would like you to be at this kind of competency level, and if you can reach that, then in 1 year or 2 years, depending on where you want to go with the company, this is where you could be, right? So this gives them, first shows them that you have a plan, that you are invested in them, that you think of them as long-term employees, and you want to up their skills and get to know exactly where they want to go, and that there's the opportunity for them to continue to grow inside your business. As far as the the actual training goes, I mean, it's going to be a lot of on-site and probably a little bit of, you know, process structure that hopefully you have with some standard operating procedures. Again, like let's say you have one for painting out a room because you do painting. Well, you know, you don't need every little step-by-step or a 3-hour video of them like learning how to paint, right? You just figure out like this is the setup. So you got 5 steps to, you know, set up when you get started on your day, or setting up to mask off a room, or to, you know, paint the ceiling or whatever, to spray. Keep it simple, and then do a lot of explanation with them and like help them on site, and then kind of slowly let them do things on their own to where they're in, you know, a good competent place. I know this is like a big kind of sticking point for a lot of guys, is like they don't really like to train. They feel that if they train someone too well, they're just going to go and want to be on their own or whatever. But there's so many benefits to investing in employees. And yeah, sure, maybe some will you know, jump ship and actually start their own business, but a lot of them just want a good place to work where they feel, you know, appreciated. So that's the second one. You still with me? Does that make sense? Training, super important part of your system for employee management. The third one is organization. So organizing employees, having an organized business is going to be a big step in the right direction of employees actually feeling comfortable working for you. But organizing and scheduling employees, good ways to do this is obviously be communicating with them frequently and have a system for them to provide feedback to you. So depending again how big your team is, how many projects you manage, your system's going to look a little different, you know, depending on what you do and all those different things. But part of it would be for them to maybe send you pictures at the end of the day, maybe send you a quick, you know, text update, or if you use, you know, WhatsApp or Slack or one of these other ones, or maybe a project management software has some sort of, you know, messaging built into it. So organizing them, making sure that they're providing feedback of how far they got or what got done, you explaining to them like what they need to be doing and what their, you know, the plan is for the week or the day or whatever, what your expectations are of them, and if it's reasonable, of like how much production you need to get done. I know talking to pretty much every business owner who has a construction company saying like, yeah, I feel like they should be able to get this done, and I explain it, and then I come to site the next day and it's like they only got half of it done and all this stuff. So get a little bit of feedback from the employees. Say like, hey, you know, am I pushing you too hard? Should my expectations not be this high? Or why do we consistently, you know, not meet our mark? Or, you know, am I under budgeting this or under scheduling it? You know, have those open conversations, be clear with them, and have that part of your system of having feedback, and let them know that if things aren't going well, or if you're pushing too hard, that you are open to their feedback, and that you're a team. So you need to work together. So that's part of it with scheduling and organizing, as well as like keeping cost codes, having them input their hours. So having a system for them to follow that's not robotic, but it's consistent and it's helping everyone involved to, you know, produce high quality, timely work. So that's the third place you want to look at for your management system, is organization with the employees. Fourth one, super important, probably should have been the first one, but got it over here at number 4, communication, right? Communication is so paramount in construction, and a lot of construction employees and business owners as well do not communicate at you know, as high a level as they probably should, for many different reasons. But again, having a system to facilitate proper communication and communicating why they need to communicate in a certain way, give them the why, is super important. So this should be part of your onboarding process of like your employee handbook of like communication, what's expected of them. Like if they're going to be late, if they've got, you know, personal problems, like, you know, they don't have to share everything with you, but if there's things that are bothering them, or reasons why they can't, you know, produce at a high level or be on time, that you expect them to communicate with that with you, and that you are understanding of it, as well as communicating with clients. You know, like if they're on site, should they be talking about schedules or budgeting or design? You know, if they're, you know, a carpenter, and yeah, I'm sure they have their opinion and all this, but if you as a project manager or, you know, the business owner, you start talking and it's like you don't have that direct communication with clients, well, that could be a problem, right? So explain to your employees what you expect for communication, as well as like communication daily of what they got done, or if they need something, how you would prefer to be communicated with, how they prefer to be communicated with. So just have that discussion and have something on paper of like, what are the standards of communication for email, for phone calls, for messaging, you know, whatever, however your communication is. And then another thing very key that not a lot of business owners do, unfortunately, especially smaller guys, is is performance reviews, right? And this isn't like, hey, these are all the things that I don't think you do very well. This is like a sit down, a chat. It can be a little bit personal. It can also be professional, and just get to know your employees and figure out from them what's going well, what they think they could improve on, what they would like to improve on, what they would like to learn, and then provide them with feedback of like just open and honest, like, hey, I've seen this, come up before. What do you think about it? I would prefer if you could do XYZ instead of ZYX or whatever. So have performance reviews. I would say every 6 months to a year-ish. Maybe when they're starting out, you probably want to check in like at their first month, after 3 months, 6 months. If they're a regular employee, maybe every 6 months or a year. But this builds strong relationships. It's a great system to implement into place, and it builds that team environment once again. So those are the 4 different systems of like areas to build out a proper employee management system. If you want help with this, if you want, build for you templates and documents and systems, reach out to me. That's what I do. I help construction business owners get all this implemented. Also, check out the description below. So there's a free course if you're like, prefer just to kind of learn this on your own and try some of this stuff and start getting systems in your business. Free course in the description. Build a business that works without you is what the course is called. Tons of great information there, completely free. No reason not to sign up. So click that link, get signed up in the description. Any other questions or specifics, drop a comment. Throwing a lot at you here, but here's all the best with managing your employees, building your team, and growing your successful business.